Or did they like ask you, like how much you made or why were you getting a check or anything like that?
No, because after they came in the car, after they got signed it, I went in the building after they sat down in the car. I went in and then I got my check and then I came out. Then I wound up taking them to get something to eat and to the grocery store. But they didn't want to drive, and then I had to drive them back home, which I don't.
For 30 grand, you be like, that's all y'all need. I do whatever y'all want me to do today. 12 cents flipped into a $30,000 payday. Again, guys, I cannot make this stuff up. My man Desmond from Michigan is here to share how he did it. So you know what you need to do is stand by. Let's get it.
Flip man, it's the flip man. You want some money in your hand? Flipping houses without credit or your cash. Get that bag.
Hello guys, this is Ty, and today is one of those great days because we have someone that's willing to share their story on how they had a huge payday, over 30,000 big ones. And my man Desmond is here from the Grand Rapids area of Michigan to share his story. How's it going, Desmond?
It's going good, man. How are you? Thanks for having me.
No problem at all, man. I really, really appreciate you reaching out to me on yesterday. Sent me the picture of the check. Hey, that's what's up, man. You made my day that really wasn't going well for me, but it brightened it up, man. So I'm really glad you reached out to me. So the way I like to do these, of course, is just to try to get some background about you, really sort of before you start to get involved in real estate and what your 9 to 5 was, because I think you are doing this full time now, and just give us a little background about your journey to real estate and so on.
Well, I was in the machine area, basically. What do you call it? The industrial machine operator, the typical machine operator. And then I realized that there was something that I couldn't stand anymore, couldn't take anymore. And I left that. Then I just went to doing something different in the machine, still in the machine industry. And then I realized like this not changing. So I started a lawn business and that didn't change. And then I went to start doing handyman work. I realized that wasn't fulfilling. And then I ran it.
Real quick on the lawn service, because I'm assuming you're in Michigan, so it snows a lot, right?
Oh, absolutely.
So what happens to the lawn business in the wintertime?
It evaporates. It's not even lucrative anymore. I did have opportunities with guys that I was quarterbacking certain in the fall season, some of my fall jobs with to bring me on to hire me on and pay me like $25 an hour to do snow plowing with them. Okay. But I just know working a typical job really wasn't. It was already frustrating to me enough to go and work for someone. So, I found joy when I started doing lawn care because I was being able to create my own time and doing things the way that I wanted to get them done. So
correct.
But yeah.
All right. So I cut you off. So after the lawn service, you said you went into something else?
Doing some handyman stuff. I started doing some handyman stuff and from there, I took an interest in real estate, but really didn't know how. So I still was at a dead end. And then I ran across your videos. I don't even remember how. I ran across your videos, man. I don't even remember how.
Well, normally if you were searching for, if you found it, I don't know if you found them on YouTube or Facebook or Google or whatever. Normally, the way they have those algorithms set up, man, if you show any interest in any one particular thing, then they're going to start feeding you that content. And it probably happened there. You probably seen a thumbnail of mine that may have, caught your eye and, you went from there. So I'm just assuming or whatever, but go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, but somehow I got access to you, and I just started watching your videos, and I'm thinking to myself, like, no cash, no credit. Like, this is impossible. Like, like, because I always hear stories about this. It's a myth now. And you hearing it from me because I've done it, that you need money to invest in real estate.
Yeah.
Well, you need all these hundreds of thousands of dollars. You got to be positioned like this. You have to be in a certain space to get opportunities like that, and you really don't. I ran across it. I was a little like skeptical about it, but I don't know what happened. I just started feeding myself. I started watching all of your videos, and then I'm like, okay, let me go ahead and try and see if this works. And it works. It works. It works. I mean, I'm flabbergasted.
So let's get into when you found the information okay, you found the information. When did you actually take action? Because I think from just our short conversation, you started it, stopped it, or whatever, if I'm not mistaken. But just take us through that process. Even though you found the information, you still got to take action. So give us an idea of what's the first thing you actually did to say, I'm going to give this a try. Guys, I got to interrupt this video because the Dealulator CRM is now available. I launched it prematurely before, but it's now available and ready for you to test drive. Manage your leads better, create more follow-up. It allows you to do so many different things all in one. So all you have to do to test drive it is tap the link in this description of this video or in the comments section, or simply go to dealulator.com and test drive my CRM now. Also, make sure you follow me on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter, and you're here on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, turn on the bell notification so you are alerted whenever I upload new videos and when we go live. So back to the video.
I went and got some bandit signs. I took some of the money that I was making with my lawn service, and which wasn't a lot at that time. And I just, I'm a risk taker, so I'm not afraid of taking risks because I understand that, you either win big or you're going to lose big. Either way, you're going to learn a lesson from it.
Correct.
So I'm just going to take a chance. And I'm going to count on me at the end of the day. So I took action. I just went and got some bandit signs. I just followed what you said. Okay. If you got a little money, do this. So I did that, and I bought some bandit signs. I set them up.
Do you remember how many you purchased?
I think it was probably about 25 or 50, something like that. It wasn't a lot.
Well, where did you they were printed or handwritten, or how did you do them?
I went to Dirt Cheap Signs.
Okay.
The site that you recommend.
All right.
And you just stated on your video that, hey, listen, you'll get a little discount if you call and you just tell them Ty referred you. So I just did that, Mm-hmm. And all through watching your videos, I mean, we never spoke over the phone in this process.
So you closed that first deal that showed you that it was real. What happened after that? Because what was the lapse in between there? So
I was ecstatic. I got another deal for like a 3 properties at one time under contract that I was standing to make like I think like 86,000 or something like that. And I partnered with some guys that I probably should have never partnered with, and the deal just disintegrated.
Evaporated. Okay. Do you remember what caused it to not happen?
Yeah, the guys I was JVing with, they just was pulling out the air and just didn't produce what they said they was going to produce. Times was lapsing, and they was asking me to go back and ask for certain information, and the person.
So this was your actual deal. You had it under contract, and you were working with them to hopefully, number one, put the deal together and for them to find a buyer for you.
Right.
Okay.
Because I heard you talking about, JV with other Jay Weave with other wholesalers, but these particular guys, they're wholesaling and they knew people that would buy. But I think it was just a bad deal, just connecting with those guys. But I write those off and I just keep moving.
Yeah. So do you think it were the numbers on that deal or just you?
The numbers was great.
Okay, they're just you making a decision to deal with them. Probably didn't know more than you did, and it just lagging along. It just caused your deal to expire, basically run out of time. Okay,
right.
All right.
They might have went behind me too, and and talked to the guy, knew that got it for a little cheaper. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? They just now that I've learned, it's like that probably was their strategy. I don't know.
I got you. So, I know we're going to get into the bigger deal that you just recently did. So that's basically a 2-year time span. So you were doing more deals, just smaller, or what was it like?
I did a few small deals, but I was running into some issues with guys, and just and it's just like I just sort of back off because everybody's not authentic. I don't know what it is, but it seems like people greed be at an all-time high. And I just sort of took a back seat for a while and just was like, I'm going to figure out something else to do. So I just went back to doing some handyman stuff and just like, I just really, working with certain people in this industry just wasn't good. So I just decided to get back now and
Okay. All right. So you basically got a sour taste in your mouth, even though you had made some money or whatever. That you were dealing with. You probably were trying to deal with other wholesalers to help you put to find cash buyers for you, which is fine, but that should like be option B in a lot of cases. You know what I'm saying? Even though I offer that service or whatever, but I'm just saying that's normal, should just be offered. Be honest, you should find your own buyer. That's more money for you at the end of the day. So let's go ahead and get into this particular deal here and how it came about. How did you generate this particular lead here on the deal that you closed when you made the 30K?
Well, I heard about it. I heard about an app called Propelio. It's like a driving for dollars app. I think it's like $98 and some change or something like that. Maybe $100 a month, which is, really is worth it. So I do a lot of driving because I like to drive and get out and see things and be tangible. I'm a people's person.
Yeah.
So I was driving in this particular area and I saw a house and I'm like, I always shoot mailers out because you could do it right from your phone. So I shot this mailer. I think they like 12 cents or something like that.
Okay.
But you have to add money to your Propelio account.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I had maybe about like $80 or something like that to the account, to the Propelio account, to be able to send these 12-cent mailers out.
I got you.
That particular month, I probably sent out over like 50 or 60 or something like that.
Okay.
So anyways, this particular area was close to this area called Westlake area. It was a partial rehab property. It was a 4-bedroom, 2-bath. And the lady called me back after she received the mailer and she said she wasn't interested in selling.
Mm-hmm.
And she said she called me back a couple weeks later and called me like, what would you buy this property for if I'm interested in selling? Okay. And so I asked her, was she the owner? I just went through the bullet points that you gave. Mm-hmm. Was she the owner? How many bedrooms? What's the bath? What condition, exterior, interior? And how much are you looking? Why are you looking to sell? And her husband she told me why she was looking to sell. Her husband just passed. It was something that she was going to use for her family to fix up and like renovate or whatever. Yeah. And use it for like a vacation rental as well. So, and I asked her like, well, why are you not interested in, doing that? She was like, well, I don't have the money. So And I said, well, what are you looking to get? You know, how much you have into it? So she told me the number, and then I just let her talk. And she told me what she was looking to get for it. And I was like researching the area, like, oh, this close to 250 to 350. 250,000 to 350,000, probably more area. But I know the condition that it was in, if you put it on the market, then you probably could at least got, you know, really good money for it because of where it was positioned.
Okay.
And so I met her at the property and took a tour through it. I'm like, yeah, this is a good deal. This is all you want? She said, this is all I have to get for it, the money that I got into it. I'm like, this is no.
What was that amount?
It was like 78,000.
Okay.
But the property, you know, the area, what the area was selling for, you know, so
okay.
I was like, okay, you know, so we did the contract right there. And
okay, so you put on the contract for what, 78?
78.
Okay. How much earnest money did you
I know you talk about giving 10 to $20 of earnest money, but this particular one, I gave $100 just to let her know that I was serious.
I got you.
Because I knew the potential that I could make from this.
Correct.
I didn't really care about that. You know, I'm gonna close.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I know 10 to 100 myself, but all right. So so you have it under contract. What from that point, once you had it in the contract with her, what was the next thing that you did?
I knew some guys that wanted to was buying, so I sent it over to them with pictures, video of the property. I took a video of the property and sent it over to them with the numbers.
What did you estimate the repairs to be on the property?
I estimate the repairs to be on the property between about 45K, somewhere up in there. And that's if, you know, because these guys was doing their own work. So I knew what they was kind of looking for.
I got you.
These guys was doing their own work. So I knew what they was, you know, they was going to save about, you know, 20, 30,000.
Okay.
You know, that you would have to pay that 40 and that 30 to hire a contractor to do it. So they was putting $30,000 in their pocket and using the 45 to sort of.
I got you.
Go right there. I know I'm all over the place with my numbers, but
no, that's cool. That's cool. All right. So so now you you put it out there to that guy. So who stepped forward?
So these particular guys, man, they just, you know, they just was more interested in, because they knew what it was. So they was more interested, because I was selling it to them for 150. I was flipping it over to them for 150 because
so that's the price you put out there is 150.
Yes. Okay. So I was standing to make about 70 something thousand, close to it.
All right.
So they wasn't really interested in, you know, the money that they was making. They was more interested in how much I was going to make off the deal. I mean, a few people that I connected with that, but I don't no longer deal with those guys anymore, because you shouldn't be interested in how much money that I'm making in this deal, especially when you got a margin of 70, 80,000 plus or more.
Or more, yeah.
You know, so I just look at those guys as like enemies to my business.
Oh yeah.
So I don't deal with those guys anymore.
Yeah, you can't deal with this. Okay, so how did you find the real buyer?
Interesting thing. I don't even know how it happened, but it was a young man by the name of Javon that knew a couple of guys. I don't even know how he reached out to me. I don't even know how this even came about, but it was some other wholesalers.
Well, I'm saying, did you market the property? You put it on Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, or any of that stuff, or you just was reaching out?
I think they heard through the grapevine.
Okay.
I don't even know how, to be honest with you, I don't. But I was marketing it to a few guys. Okay. And somehow this young man from Flint, this guy from Flint called me. He knew some guys, and we just started networking together, all the other wholesalers.
I got you.
So Go ahead. Sorry.
No. Go ahead. So the guy Javon is basically supplied the buyer. So how did that go?
Well, he knew some other wholesalers that knew some guys.
I got you.
So it was like me and Javon was networking, but he was networking with these other two wholesalers that he knew. So another wholesaler that Javon knew got the deal sold. So what I did was I just sold the deal to the guy that Javon had. I just sold it to him.
So the wholesaler Javon had another wholesaler, and that's who you basically did the paperwork with.
Right. The guy that bought the buyer. Yes.
So you just gave him a price, I guess. If you had it on the contract for 78, those numbers work. I'm just gonna put words in your mouth. I'm just trying to go through.
Well, I had got an extension on this too. So, because my time had lapsed dealing with these other guys that was more concerned about. So I had got an extension, and then I started working with Javon. But I just was like, man, I'm just ready to get off this thing. You know what I'm saying? It's frustrating. So my profit was like 37,000. So I just gave them 7,000. Like, here you go.
Okay.
You
mean Javon?
Yes. Well, the guy that I had it under contract with.
Okay.
Javon was sort of like the bird dog.
Okay.
So these guys, I sold it to the other wholesaler that he had.
Okay, I'm just trying to go through the numbers here. So if you had it on the contract for 78 and your check was for 30,000, I forget what the exact number was.
$73 and like 12 cents.
Yeah, okay. All right. So that was so the 7,000, I'm saying, where did that come from? Because
115, that way I was left the table with 37,000, and I just gave them like 7,000.
Okay, all right, there you go. All right.
But they probably sold it for more. I don't know,
Well, it sounds like they probably did, because that was a lot of meat on the bone on a deal like that or whatever, which is fine. That's the same thing you were trying to tell the other guys. You worried about what I'm making. It just this number worked for you, and so 30 grand worked for you. You don't care if they made 70.
I don't care.
Yeah, you don't care. You know what I'm saying? So, but you don't want to deal with people like that do operate like that. That's why when people ask me about double closing and stuff, I'm not interested in that. Because if it's a cash buyer or / investor that is worried about what I'm making, that's someone I don't want to deal with anyway. I want someone to look at me as an asset because I'm making money. Anyone that thinks different than that, they're an idiot. That's someone you don't want to deal with. You bringing them deal after deal after deal, and they making money, but they're concerned about what you want. But you all agreed on a price that works for them. That is someone you don't want to deal with or whatever. And then plus on a double closing, if they just really want to know what you made, it's in the records. Once it's recorded, they're going to see what you bought it from the seller for, what you sold it to them for. The difference is what you made or whatever. So you don't want buyers that care about that. Now, the seller side of it, whatever. But normally they are okay because they are getting what you all agreed upon. You can always have unreasonable people, but that's going to be like 1 out of 10 or whatever. So you just handle it as needed or whatever. All right. So how was the closing set up? Well, let me ask you this. What paperwork did you put in place with those guys since you were not dealing directly with the buyer?
Interesting thing. While they was working this, we didn't have no JV agreement until they found a buyer. Okay. And once they found a buyer, then we signed I just assignment agreement to sign it over to this gentleman. Okay. For the 115, and he just sort of took it from there. So I submit that to the title company with me and him, and then he got the earnest money from the buyer. And then him and the buyer signed the contract, and he just submitted the earnest money, the buyer, him and the buyer's contract to the title company. He basically like spearheaded this whole thing. Okay. And got everything set up through a title company that I normally deal with. and mind you, this guy that I'm talking about, he was in Florida at the time doing all of this.
Oh, really? Okay. Okay, that's what's up. Okay, yeah, he's just virtual wholesaling his butt off. All right, so so now you got you all got all the paperwork, got a buyer in place. how did the closing go? You were used to closing, so it wasn't no big deal for you, but just probably, well, you said it was the biggest check you've ever gotten, wholesaling anyway. So, so the closing, did you have to, well, you had a paper check, so that means you actually had to go to pick it up, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. And so, since was the buyer local or was he out of town?
Well, they was local. I had to go and pick them up because this just happened yesterday because this winter storm came through. So they didn't want to drive. So I don't care about that.
Oh, wow.
I understand that.
You had to go pick the buyers up or the sellers?
I wanted to pick the sellers up. Sorry.
Okay. All right. The seller, okay.
And take them to the title company and sign. And
okay.
That's just what it was. The buyer came first and signed, and then the seller came later. So the buyer came around about 2:30, and then the seller had to go and sign about 3:00.
Okay, so they never saw each other.
They never saw each other, and it's good to do it that way. The set that was up that way.
Yeah, sometimes they won't do it that way. If you know what I'm saying, some title company or closing attorneys won't do it that way, but that's fine. That's perfect. Whenever you can have the buyer come in, sign everything, and then the seller come in shortly after just to pick up their money, sign the documents to make the complete transfer of the property or whatever. Okay, so so they just went in and signed. They got their funds. They slid you a check, and I guess you still had to take them back home, home or whatever. And so, or did they like ask you, you know, like how much you made, or why were you getting a check or anything like that?
No, because after they came in the car, after they got signed it, I went in the building. After they sat down in the car, I went in and then I got my check and then I came out. Then I wound up taking them to get something to eat and to the grocery store. But they didn't want to drive, and then I had to drive them back home, which I don't.
For 30 grand, you be like, that's all y'all need. I do whatever y'all want me to do today and tomorrow too.
That's how I was looking at it too. So hey, we ain't KFC and everything, man. I paid for it.
What's up?
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, man. So so you like you said, you reached out to me, you got the check, and you found this lead through Driving for Dollars using that app you mentioned. By the way, you know, Deal Later offers us the same app and service, or you can send out mailers too, but just a quick shameless plug. Deal Later Prop Stream. So now you got that war chest. You can do more marketing, different types of marketing. What's next for you? What's next on the horizon for you?
I've just been taking the money that I've been making and putting it back into real estate.
I got you.
In the very little. But at some point I want to do something with land development. That's my plan. So, but I've been really, you know, I got a lot of stuff going on that I'm trying to get in order personally.
I got you.
But what I've been thinking about is really that, you know, them commercial deals that, you know, that you can make, the profits that you can make from the commercial deals. And I would love to keep some of that triple net lease money, you know, coming in passively. So I got a few things that I'm trying to get in order personally. After I get that done, I'll be ready to go take on some more deals because this is easy now to me. I can do wholesaling in my sleep, you know, and set these deals up in my sleep now. So it's really not a challenge. And, you know, and I appreciate the 30,000, but, you know, if I can, you know, double that, you know, for the time and the labor that I would have to put into it, it'll make it a whole lot more worth it, you know. And I know it's going to be frustrating with business, but I'm looking forward to, you know, them $60,000, $70,000, $50,000 deals, man. And, you know, I'm looking for more. So, yeah. Yeah,
that's what's up, man. So before we get out of here, man, do you want to share or advise people that are trying to get in this, or, you know, they may be having a little struggles with any advice you want to give them?
Yes. Don't quit. Don't give up. Don't stop. Follow Ty. Do what he tell you to do in his videos.
Mhm.
I never even met this man, and he giving this information away for free. Some people will charge you like $50,000 or more for this information. I mean, he just spilling the beans, and he's not basically, it's like, hey, here's some services this only if you're willing to, if this is what you want. But hey, all my information I give away for free. And so don't quit, don't stop, watch his videos, learn from him, and, get some time and invest back into what he's doing. You want to do that. Buyers that are concerned about how much money you're making, they are enemies to your business. Get them out of there. Yeah. Get them out of there. Don't deal with those guys.
That's it. Well, man, Desmond, I really, really appreciate you, man, sharing your time and information, your story with us. I love doing these because I always learn something different that I didn't know when I'm doing these interviews, and more importantly, it's adding value to others' journey, to getting paid. Hopefully changing their financial situation, their family's financial situation, and changing an area forever. I mean, and money is not the answer to everything by no means, but I like to look at it gives you options or whatever, because it doesn't mean that you're going to still be happy just because you have money, right? Or whatever, but it does give you options. So, but again, man, we really appreciate you sharing your time. And guys, as I always like to say, we'll see you on the flip side.
Thank you. Appreciate it,
sir.
Take care.
Flip man, it's the flip man. You want some money in your hand? Flipping houses without credit or your cash. Get that bag.